Hi, I'm SBJ Executive Editor Abe Madkour, and today we are coming to you from Drive in St. Louis. For today's conversation, I am joined by Sam Yarin, the Vice President of Product and Sales Strategy at Venuetize. Sam, I appreciate you joining me today on this Executive Insight. I want to start our conversation by talking about trends. And some of the trends you're seeing in sports technology, mobile, and how are those trends really shaping the evolution of mobile in the sports space?
Yeah, absolutely. First, just want to say, Abe, thanks for having us and having Venuetize Everi at SBJ Drive. It's been a great event so far, so appreciate that. A couple of things that I'll talk on in terms of trends, I think, that touch across the Venuetize business as a whole and into mobile. One, around content and the way that I think there's a shifting trend of teams that we work with, taking content more in-house. And if you look at the way that rights deals are changing and a lot of teams creating more direct-to-consumer, direct-to-fan products, we're really looking at the ways that our mobile apps that we create for teams and the way that teams are starting to interact directly with fans beyond large broadcast rights deals. But we think there's an opportunity there to work closer with the teams as they try and leverage their mobile technology to go direct to fans more. And then on the venue side, I think, when we talk about trends, there's a few that have been around for a number of years, so it's not like it's new trends, but when you talk about the frictionless technology in venues, when you talk about what we do in terms of mobile payments and the way that it's not just facilitating cashless payments, but changing kind of the way that teams look at and can collect data to make smarter insights on fans. Those are definitely the things that are at the top, and I think part of that frictionless experience too is the way that biometrics is coming into that. And I think ultimately what you're going to have is giving fans a variety of choices when they come into venues, maybe not mandating or forcing these type of experiences, but allowing there to be a true frictionless experience from entry through food and beverage payments, through team shop, buying a jersey, parking, et cetera, in that overall experience.
Yeah, Sam, we heard about that today, and that's a pretty exciting visual and a pretty exciting, I would say, North Star for everybody to kind of shoot for. You talk a lot about these trends. These trends are certainly rapidly changing. So how do you at Venuetize stay true to your foundational roots while staying focused on the trends that are so fast moving?
Yeah, it's definitely been a fun and interesting journey at Venuetize. One of the things that the company started very early on in its infancy was around mobile payments. So we were doing, cashless mobile wallet back in 2016 before, COVID escalated a lot of these implementations that we're seeing today. And then on the mobile app side, it's really, now taking what we've learned over the last, 5 to 10 years working with teams and venues, being able to wrap that into more of a foundational technology approach to make it more efficient for us as a technology company, but also for our clients that we're working with when it comes to delivery, but also being flexible to add on new innovations as they come, or new, companies that we see popping up in the space that teams want to integrate their technologies to.
Right, so they'll ingest some of the new players into your basic foundational assets that you've already developed.
Yeah. And I think when you look at what we've done really from the start, it's been the mobile app technology and the mobile payment, and that's still pretty core for us today.
A lot of the conference conversation, Sam, has been about challenges, I would say pain points. I would say that there has to be challenges when you're deploying new technology, especially mobile technology. Also, you work with a number of teams, venues, and leagues. And so there must be some growing pains and some issues that have to come up. What are some of the things that you've worked through and that you've learned along these challenges?
Yeah, when we're a small company and growing our client base significantly, and now, it's a blessing and a curse having the reach and client base that we do today. I'd say it is a balance of, maintaining a platform and a foundation, but being flexible enough to, as I just talked about, to integrate new technologies as they arise. And one of the best things that I personally love about the sports industry and the space is there's a lot of sharing that goes along in terms of best practices, because while they're competing on the field or on the court, from a business perspective at conferences like this, we're sharing a lot of, what we're doing in venues or best practices, but there are, every client or team wants to have their individual approach. So I'd say the biggest challenge when you're working across, a variety of teams, leagues, et cetera, is making sure that you have the coverage to give your clients the attention and resources on our side that they need to keep their business strategy moving, but also being able to kind of, box enough that we can maintain ourselves as a business and grow with the resources that we have.
Because at the league level, I mean, the clients and partners you work with, MLS currently, I know you had MLB, PGA Tour, NHL. So again, each one of them can work together well. There are some similarities, but there are some differences in terms of their own specific wants.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and if you think about the difference between maybe an MLB or an NHL game versus a PGA Tour event where it's 4 days over the course of a weekend where fans are walking around for 8 to 12 hours at a time, it's also a different experience that they're trying to activate while fans are attending a game.
A little bit to that point, Sam, I guess you mentioned it earlier, working with third parties and maybe some of the opportunities but challenges that come to that in terms of cohesion, synergies, integrations. Any advice or what are the learnings you've had in terms of that space?
Yeah, Venuetize, we touted for a very long time the number of integrations that we've taken on as a kind of technology foundation in the mobile space. And that does come with a lot of challenges because you become the almost throat to choke in maintaining and managing a lot of these relationships. So for us, it's really been about developing stronger relationships with partners, making sure that across the board, it's not just Venuetize is responsible for one part of a delivery, but it is a team effort when it comes to working with, team Venuetize, another third party, partner to make sure that, something happens during an event or if something is, that there's the proper response time across all parties that are, ready to solve that. So it definitely, the more partners, the more integrations you add, the more complex it gets, but it's been, it's definitely something, we've worked really hard on.
Well, you and I have talked about it, Sam, and the industry knows about it. SBJ's reported on it. So a lot of changes, and not a lot of changes, but about a year ago, Everi acquired Venuetize. As you look to the future, what do you see next for the company? What does this acquisition by Everi allow you to do?
Yeah, it's funny because we all knew when the acquisition first happened that not a lot of people in the sports world would be familiar with Everi as a company. Right. And so for Everi, what Venuetize really represented was breaking into sports and entertainment. And while there are definitely products and services that they're taking from Venuetize into their world of casino, gaming, hospitality, there's also a lot of products and services we're looking at bringing into the sports and entertainment world that we think there's a really big opportunity for us to grow, not just as Venuetize, but overall Everi's presence in sports and entertainment. And if you look at things that the casino gaming industry does really well from, player retention, loyalty programs, right. A lot of the innovation that Everi's done on facilitating payments and mobile payments and gaming and slot, and then throw that over with it's never been more combined of sports betting, gambling in the sports, world. There's a lot of synergies, and we're really excited to take that from Everi into the sports entertainment.
So Sam, those are some of the elements that they specialize in that you feel could be really relevant to Venuetize and deploying some kind of new processes.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're early on in having a lot of conversations with our clients, with others in the space of, if we were to take X, Y, and Z from over here and be able to bring it in a sports and entertainment fashion, what would that look like? How would that interact? And so there's a lot of growth that we see, not just for Venuetize products and services, but Everi into sports and entertainment.
So overall, pretty exciting time for you, pretty exciting time to be part of Venuetize.
Absolutely. Yeah. It makes it easier for us to come and talk to people at events like this, and we're excited, and we have great set of resources now backing us as we look to grow, not just again Venuetize, but sports and entertainment within Everi as a whole.
Great stuff, Sam. Thanks very much for joining us on the SBJ Executive Insight. I'm Executive Editor Abe Madkour. We are coming to you from St. Louis at our Drive conference, and I just had a great conversation with Venuetize's Vice President of Product and Sales Strategy, Sam Yarin.